everybody, Natalia here, and I just wanted to do another tea time video, or in this case it's kind of like a coffee time video, but I just wanted to chat with you about how my novel has been going and the struggles that I've been coming across lately. So let's go ahead and get right into that. A little bit cold, but it's still good. In many of my videos, if not most of my videos, I talk about how well my writing process has been going, and that is all true. Everything I share with you in videos is completely true. I don't twist the facts. I don't tell you that I have been writing more than I actually have been. So I wanted to film this video to let you know that I have hard days as well, and I have days where I struggle to write 300 words, let alone 2,500 like I have been on some occasions. So a couple days ago, I had a really hard writing day. Now, this whole week has been difficult for me. Today is the 31st of March, and all week I have been struggling with my word count. Yesterday, I think I wrote 360 words, and that was actually a good day compared to what I've been writing lately. A couple days ago, I could barely manage to get 200 words, and by the time I had finished with those 200 words, I was very displeased with everything I had written. I was looking back at the work I'd done over the past few days, and I didn't like the characters, and I didn't like the dialogue, and I thought the action was boring, and I was just in such a negative headspace that I just had to close my laptop, close Scrivener, and just walk away. Aren't you? So after I had to do that, after I closed my Scrivener and just put my novel away, I went through a really mopey, kind of pitiful mood, and I was doubting myself. I was starting to question, is this novel any good? Will I ever finish this novel? What will ever become of it? And I really had to work hard to pull myself out of that mood. And what I did was I started thinking about everything that I liked about my novel to begin with. It's so easy to fall into the routine of thinking about everything you don't like about it, or everything you think is bad about your novel, but I had to start remembering what I loved about it and why I was writing it in the first place and what I was excited about. And after taking a couple hours of just repeating these really positive things in my head, I was able to kind of pull myself out of that pitiful, really mopey, depressive kind of mood. Living a creative life, I feel like, lends itself to these kind of mood swings. For example, I used to work at a veterinary hospital, and I worked in the kennel taking care of all the dogs that were boarding there, and it was hard labor, you know, having to clean up after all the dogs and walk the dogs and carry all their heavy water dishes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I would do my work and I would come home and I was done, and there was nothing to worry about. But living a creative life and having creative hobbies is completely different, because our work never leaves us. It's always with us. It's in our head and in our heart, right? So it can be so incredibly difficult when you hit a point, either in your writing or your art or your music, whatever it is you're creating, when you hit a point where you're not proud of the work that you're creating. But we can't let ourselves dive too deep into self-doubt, because that will keep us from achieving anything. I used to have a desktop background that said, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And I think that is so true, because how many of us have started a novel and then we've had such self-doubt that we quit? And it's not that we failed, you know, it's not like we wrote a novel and absolutely nobody liked it and nobody wanted to read it. And even by saying that, I don't feel right saying that, because if you write a novel, no matter how good it is, no matter who does or doesn't want to read it, that in and of itself is a huge accomplishment. There are so many people that want to write books. I've had people tell me, oh, you know, I've had this idea for a book for so many years, and then I ask them, well, why haven't you written it? And so many people go through that, wanting to write something and put it down, but they're never able to. So even if you finish a book, that is a major accomplishment that you should be absolutely proud of. But we stop ourselves before we're able to reach that level of accomplishment because we doubt ourselves. You know, we read these books that have been worked on by an entire team of people. I was getting frustrated because Laini Taylor's new book just came out, and I love Laini Taylor's books. Her Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy is my absolute favorite trilogy of all time. I adore the way that she writes, but I was so bummed out because I saw everything on Twitter and everybody was celebrating Strange the Dreamer, which is her new book that just came out, and it kind of broke my heart because I thought, look at this author. She's a real writer. She's a real author. She has all the success, but what I needed to remember was that yes, she has an entire team of people behind her, and she has a team of people editing and helping her, and that's fantastic, but she also had to go through this phase where she doubted herself, and she didn't have an agent, and she had never published a book before. So even our favorite authors that we really look up to had to go through these periods of self-doubt. Another one of my favorite contemporary authors is Sarah Dessen, and if I'm remembering correctly, a few years ago I was keeping up with her blog and her Twitter, and she was talking about how she had slipped into this writing rut almost, and she was writing and nothing was feeling good and nothing was really coming together, and she was fearing whether or not she would ever be able to write a novel again. She was wondering if that was just the end of her career, but now it's a couple years later. Saint Anything is out and I've already read it, and then I think she has another book coming out later this year. I'm not certain about that, but I think that's what's happening. So she went through, and Sarah Dessen has published many, many books over many years, and even she went through periods of intense self-doubt. So even though I'm going through it, and I'm sure many of you are going through it, we can't give up yet, because if we let doubt kill our dreams this early on, we're never going to achieve our goals and our biggest dreams. So really, what I've just been trying to do is remember all the positive things about my novel, remember everything that I'm really excited about, and then just take a break. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any writing today because I just want to take some time to go back to my outline and really look at what I need to add to it for Camp NaNoWriMo coming up, because what's stopping me is the fact that I'm not happy with the lack of structure in my outline right now. I cannot write unless I know where I'm going, and right now I know the major plot points that I need to hit, but I don't know the tiny kind of plot points along the way. I don't know what path to take in order to get to those major plot points. So instead of worrying about word count today, I'm just going to sit down and worry about really buffing up my outline so that for tomorrow when Camp Nano starts, I will be feeling much more prepared for it. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about in relation to Camp NaNoWriMo is that I put together that word sprint calendar, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to put a link down below to where you can find that. I went ahead and put the days that I'll be doing the word sprints, and I didn't tell you times because I felt like that was going to be a bit too constricting on me. I don't want to have to set an alarm on a Sunday morning and rush and hurry to get up to do a word sprint. So instead I just put on there the days that I'll be doing those word sprints, and I'm going to try to do them morning, afternoon, and evening. I'll be doing them throughout the day. So whatever time you can kind of pop by on those days and join us would be fantastic. I also added some fun events to the calendar, such as a day to make character art, a day to write a synopsis, a day to tweet me your one sentence summary of your novel or whatever you're working on. So I went ahead and just threw those fun events in there to kind of keep us inspired and keep us working toward our goal and not giving up, because that's incredibly important. So again, I'm going to link to that down below. That's where you can find it. Yeah, so I got a message from Becky Johnson on Twitter, and she said you should do a discussion video live with other writers. It opens your eyes to other kinds of ideas and helps others too, and it gets you going again. And I've really been thinking about this because I have hit a point on my YouTube channel where I can now do live streams, and I've wanted to kind of go down that path, but I wasn't sure what to do on those streams or, do live. So I've been thinking it might be fun to do kind of virtual write with me days so that you can tune in as well while I'm writing and we can chat and write together. So that's one option. Then the other option is to do what Becky kind of recommended and to do a live video chat with you guys, with other writers, and we can have maybe a couple discussion topics and just chat about it and chat about self-doubt, creativity, outlining, your typical writing day, whatever the discussion topic is. I think it would be a lot of fun to just get a few of us together and chat about it. So if you have any ideas about this, please let me know. I just want to open up communication and see what you guys would like to watch or what you would like to participate, and then based on the feedback I get, I will use that to kind of move forward and take this next step. I've never done any streaming. I've never done any live video, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I'm also excited moving forward, and I'm really excited to see what kind of becomes of this and what we make out of it. So thank you so much for tuning back in for my 4th Tea Time episode today. Camp NaNoWriMo starts tomorrow, so try to get really pumped up. Check out that calendar I put together for you, and let's just work really hard and write as many pages as we can, write as many words as we can, get as many hours logged as we can, whatever you're using to kind of track your progress this month. So I will be catching up with you again tomorrow probably. I am doing word sprints tomorrow, since tomorrow is the first day of camp, and I'm going to also be filming it. So you will probably be seeing me again tomorrow evening, so either Saturday evening or Sunday, depending on how long the video is and how quickly I can edit it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!